Good evening, the class, Honorable Professor and my fellow classmates. I wish you all the best, and I thank you, Honorable Professor, for giving me an opportunity to present my final paper. The title of my paper is The Role of Long-Term Budget Planning in Managing Government Debt. Assessing the impact on economic stability and fiscal sustainability. So you know that these two terms very important, economic stability and fiscal sustainability. These two terms mainly played vital role, or we can say that it occupied most of the portion of the paper. So in my as per the instruction of the professor, we have divided the paper into several parts like abstract, introduction, literature review, research design, analysis and recommendations, and at the end conclusion. So I'll try to highlight whatever the things or the subject matter I have explained in the particular section. So if I talk about abstract, this then I would say my paper explores the role of long-term budget planning in managing government debt, promoting economic stability, and ensuring fiscal sustainability. By employing a comparative case study approach, it identifies effective practices and offers actionable policy recommendations for fostering resilience and fiscal discipline. So that is the summary of my abstract. If you go through my abstract, you will get more information, but this is in a nutshell. And in my introduction, the introduction emphasizes the increasing necessity of strategic budget planning to address escalating government debt and economic fluctuations. It underscores how a structured long-term approach can help control debt levels while mitigating the negative effects of poor fiscal management on economic growth. So then we can turn to literature review. It's a secondary paper, based on secondary sources of information that we call quantitative method. So in my literature review, I have tried to discuss many academic papers that are already published in this arena, and especially this budget planning, long-term budget planning, to achieve the sustainable economic growth. So the literature review discusses theoretical and empirical perspectives on long-term budgeting, debt management, and fiscal policies. It examines both historical and contemporary insights into fiscal discipline, supported by case studies that showcase how proactive planning contributes to economic stability. That means to do that, I had to go into many research papers published in different countries of the world. So it's a kind of case study that I have done all through the literature review. Now we'll turn to research design. That means what kind of research design is followed to make this paper. A comparative case study methodology is used to analyze how different countries implement long-term budget planning. The research integrates qualitative data, including government reports, fiscal regulations, and economic metrics, to evaluate the effectiveness of these planning approaches. Then we'll turn to analysis and recommendations. The analysis highlights that countries with well-structured budget frameworks achieve improved economic stability and debt management outcomes. Key recommendations include implementing legally binding fiscal rules, establishing independent oversight mechanisms, and employing advanced forecasting techniques to enhance the effectiveness of long-term planning. Now, it's last but not the least, uh, you know, in conclusion, the paper concludes that proactive long-term budget planning is vital for sustainable debt management and overall economic health of the country. Governments are urged to adapt these frameworks to negative fiscal challenges effectively and maintain economic stability. Now, of course, like all other papers or studies, there are some limitations, and of course, there are future prospects on the subject. So, as the limitation, the study acknowledges its focus on specific case studies. There are numerous case studies all over the world, so it's not possible all the time to go through each and every case studies of each and every country. So it's of course a limitation. So it may not fully represent global fiscal complexities. That is one of the limitations. Future research could expand to include a broader range of countries and employ quantitative methodologies to deepen insights into the role of long-term planning in achieving fiscal stability across diverse contexts. And now let's see, you might have a question that why did you choose this topic? What attracted you? So in response to your question, that potential question you have not asked but you might have. So I thought it by myself, and I am answering by my own made thought as your questions. I am answering these questions that I have chosen this topic to investigate how long-term budget planning can address critical issues like rising government debt and economic instability. As governments grapple with sustainable fiscal management, I believe understanding structured budgeting frameworks is key to providing policymakers with actionable insights. Exploring how these practices enhance fiscal discipline and economic resilience is especially relevant in today's complex and unpredictable financial environment. So just notice these two terms here. Today's complex and unpredictable financial environment. Why it's complex? Because economics itself a complex matter. It's not so easy. There are a lot of things that you need to consider for the overall economic growth and development. So it is always complex and unpredictable financial environment. As it is complex, so it's not all the time predictable, because you may know that anything may happen in the fiscal year that is not thought in the beginning of the making policy or budget. So like we can give as an example COVID-19, that a lot of things happened in all over the world that people did not expect such type of phenomena in the economic sector, health sector, in fact in every sphere of our life. The pandemic gave its disaster. It happened in many places and in a way that people never thought of it. So that is why it is called unpredictable financial environment. So uh, you know that is why it was important to explore how these practices enhance fiscal discipline. You have to bring a discipline in your fiscal management, I mean the budget management, and economic resilience is especially relevant in today's. So it is very relevant in today's complex and unpredictable financial environment. So when I started studying about any topic that should be a final term paper, so I thought that it could be a good site to study on it, because this long-term budget planning is more important than the day-to-day or the short-term plan. So, and of course the government is not always well off. The government needs to take loan from different sources within the country or outside the country, different organizations. So it's a big matter for any government of any country. So the role of long-term budget planning in managing government debt is very important matter. And to conduct this properly, to maintain this properly, it needs to be assessed the impact on economic stability and fiscal sustainability. So stability is, sustainability and stability, they are connected to each other, because when you have a stability, you can think about sustainability. When you have sustainability, that means you are kind of stable. So you need at the same time economic stability, and of course it should be a long-term sustainability. So that's why this in budget management, it is very important that we need to think about more and more about long-term budget, because we have learned in our many of the classes, our respected professor, she tried to highlight those things, that budget of different country, different government in different way, and budget planning is a continuous process. It's never ended. It continues all over the year. So when you think about long-term budget, that means you have to think that what you are doing today, that should be part of the tomorrow, I mean the future. So that is the fiscal sustainability. That means whatever you are doing today, it's not all. You have to think about the future. So when you think about future, you of course think about the sustainability in future. And sustainability, we know this word means that you are creating something, you are consuming something, and of course you are leaving it for the next generation or the next people that they will handle. You can't finish it by consuming. So it's kind of sustainability is like that, economic development, economic sustainable economic. So it means that it must have a bright future, so that it will help the people in future, whether it is a government or the generation or a country as a whole or a nation, whatever. So that is called sustainability. So we need both economic stability for the running transaction of the economic of a country, and the fiscal sustainability for future. So that's all about my final paper. I tried to explain it in my PowerPoint presentation, and as I could not be present due to the ongoing weather disruption, so I had to make this record and sending to you. Hope you will be happy with this. If you have any question, you can ask me through Blackboard or in my university email, like basattachs005@gannon.edu. If you have any question, I'd be happy to answer the questions. Thank you so much, and have a nice evening.